Bonjour my friends, I'm Frankie and welcome to Club Foodie. People love finger foods. There's something about eating with our fingers that makes it more, interesting? From chicken wings, cheese sticks, sandwiches, breads, rolls. Whoa, did I just say bread? As a matter of fact, I have an amazing recipe you're just gonna love. It's so good. In today's episode, I'll show you how to make my pull-apart garlic bread. OMG! Just think about it. The bread is made from scratch and then stuffed with a garlic and herb mixture. Yum! This is an incredible mouth-watering recipe to enjoy anytime. So my friends, let's get cooking.
First, let's make the garlic butter. In a mixing bowl, we'll add half a cup of butter, fresh chopped parsley, fresh chopped chives, finely chopped rosemary, then lots of garlic. Otherwise, why call it garlic butter, right? And finally, freshly squeezed lemon juice. We'll stir the ingredients until very well blended. From here, we'll scoop the butter onto the center of some wax paper. We'll gather the sides together to compact the butter and then fold one side over and form a log by curling our fingers under to tighten it up. Now, we'll roll it up to the other side and twist the ends tight, just like this, nice and neat. To prevent it from opening up, we'll fold the ends under and transfer to the fridge until it hardens. Alright, now let's move on to the dough. In the bowl of a stand mixer, we'll add active dry yeast, lukewarm milk between 105 to 110 degrees Fahrenheit, and honey. Yeast loves sugar. We'll give a good stir and let it sit for 15 minutes until foamy. Meanwhile, we'll prep the dry ingredients. In a medium bowl, we'll add 2 cups of flour and reserve 3/4 cup on the side. Then some garlic powder and about half a teaspoon of ground sea salt. We'll give a good whisk until the ingredients are well blended and set aside for now. Back to the stand mixer. As we can see, it's nice and foamy, which indicates that the yeast is alive. So to this, we'll add unsalted butter, 1 large egg, and a 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese. With the paddle attachment, we'll process until fairly well mixed. Now, we'll add the 2 cups of our flour mixture. Oh boy, that day I was quite busy. While I was filming, I was also talking with my father, and my husband, as well as my girlfriend, were trying to get a hold of me. So, I should have changed my attachment for a dough hook. But, surprisingly enough, it still worked. I guess the culinary gods were looking out for me. Yeah, I wish the golf gods would do the same. So on low speed, we'll process and then increase the speed to 3. Now, this is when we start adding the 3/4 cup reserved flour to the bowl by the tablespoon. And we'll do that until the dough clings around the paddle hook. When it gets there, we'll increase the speed to 4 and knead it for 4 minutes. When time is up, with our oily hands, we'll pull the dough under, forming a ball. Then we'll place it in a large bowl that has already been oiled, and we'll move the dough around to coat it. We'll place a clean dish towel on top and transfer to a draft-free spot, such as an oven, with, of course, the heat off. We'll let it rise for 1.5 hours. Later on, we'll remove from its spot, and sure enough, it doubled in size. So we'll punch it a couple times and transfer to a lightly floured work surface. We'll sprinkle a little flour on top and we'll pull it under again to form a ball. When this step is done, using a bench scraper, we'll cut the dough in half, sprinkle on more flour if it's sticky, and cut each half in half. Now, just like we did earlier, we'll pull each piece under to form a ball. From here, we'll cut in half and then each half in half again. And finally, each piece in half once again. Without being too confusing, we want to end up with 32 pieces at the end. Next, what we'll do is working with one ball at a time. We'll flatten it to about 2.5 inches, big enough so we can stuff it. Now we'll place a small piece of mozzarella cheese in the center, then a small piece of the garlic butter. We'll gather the edges together, making sure everything is covered, and tightly pinch it closed. It should look like this, nice and neat, with all the yumminess inside. Then we'll transfer to a greased deep dish pizza pan. The one I'm using here is 12 inches wide by 1 inch deep. As you can see, I also placed a small ramekin upside down in the middle because when the bread is baked, we'll flip it and pour in some dipping sauce. You'll see what I mean later. So we'll cover it again and let it proof for 30 minutes in our draft-free spot. Meanwhile, we'll make an egg wash, which is simply an egg with milk, but you can always use water. And we'll whisk very well until blended. Then set aside. Alright, so half an hour later, we'll brush the dough balls with the egg wash, covering the surface and all the nooks and crannies. We'll transfer to a 375-degree preheated oven and bake for 30 minutes or until golden. We'll remove from the heat, and what we'll do is to brush garlic butter on top. We won't be shy with it, covering the entire surface. And yes, it has to be melted to apply easily. Next, we'll sprinkle the remaining 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese before returning the bread to the oven and bake for another 3 minutes or until the cheese is somewhat melted. We'll remove from the heat and carefully flip the ramekin over using tongs. We'll fill it up with pizza sauce or using my tasty marinara sauce. And my friends, this is our pull-apart garlic bread. What an amazingly delicious finger food recipe! Tender and tasty, these little guys are packed with flavor, and even better when dipped in sauce. They're great to serve for a party, sporting event, or as a side. I hope you give it a try soon, and be sure to visit clubfoodie.com for ingredient amounts and more info. Until next time, my friends, bon appétit!